Hey, this is Mark Goldberg from Mark Vlogs Watches, and you are looking at my wildflower garden or my weed bed, depending on how you want to look at it. Okay, so what's the topic here? The topic is, do I still hate Grand Seiko? Now, if you go back in time, and I'll tell you what, when this uploads, I'm broadcasting live on YouTube right now. Oh, before we go any further, quick fist watch check. I'm wearing wearing a little loose and sloppy, just the way I like it. I'm wearing the El Primero Chronomaster in 42 millimeters of delightful, beautiful 30 something stainless steel. Okay, so in the description and comments of this video, I am going to put a link to a very old video I made, terrible production value, even worse than the one that we're doing right now. Terrible production value on a video which broke a lot of hearts, and it upset a lot of people, and I got everything short of death threats because I went on and on about how I hated Grand Seiko. So I'm going to tell you why I hated Grand Seiko and the things that I sort of still hate about it, if you will. Kind of like a preview. But then we're going to get down into like the nitty-gritty of, do I actually hate the brand still? So what is it that I hated about Grand Seiko? Well, it had no snob factor. It had, as far as I'm concerned, or especially at the time I made that video, it had no appeal. Listen, when Lexus wanted to start a luxury division, when Toyota wanted to start a luxury division, they had the sense to start a brand just for that luxury division called Lexus. Nobody wants to go pay 100 grand for a Toyota. So they just slap a different badge on that, and then they create some panache, some appeal, some snob factor, some cachet, okay? And that is why when Rolex was doing its lower tier line, they called it Tudor as opposed to Rolex Junior. I hate the thought of spending $5,000 to $10,000 on a Grand Seiko and having the word Seiko on there, which to the average person is not distinguishable from Seiko 5, which can cost you like $90. So, that was really the problem. So anyway, take a look at that video. And what's really funny is you'll see the Grand Seiko lovers going like ape shit on me a couple years ago on that, in the comments on that video. Before I go any further, I would ask you, please, if you are not a subscriber and you are watching this video, to go ahead and subscribe, ring the bell, make a comment, do all those things that help me. Here I am in a backyard alone with an iPhone, and 22 people in the chat room making fun of me as we speak. So, yeah, I would like you to join my little tribe of people, and it would make me happy. So, thanks for coming along with me. So, okay, just bugs out here. Okay, so, I've had an evolution in my thinking, and I'll tell you what I would have. I would have a Grand Seiko high beat diver. I mean, those things get immense. Some of them are like 47 millimeters. I don't know my reference numbers. One of these days I'll make a proper video where I do the research and I can show the pictures. But a nice 44 millimeter, do they make it in 44? If you know, tell me. I know they make it in 45. But a nice 44, 45 millimeter Grand Seiko diver with the high beat movement. Okay, I'm not the guy to completely, people are in the live stream comments right now saying no, or Horology just said, no, it's a shitter. Well, listen, my tastes are evolving. What can I say? The thing is that I don't want to go pay $8,000 to $9,000 for this, high beat Grand Seiko, because then, I'll have to be buried in it, and, I would want to pay a price where I could theoretically, get out of it again if I wanted to. But, go take a look at Chrono 24, do a little bit of research. I'll make a proper video later where I can, show you pictures of these things. But the high beat movement is really interesting. It has there is no tick, 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 ticking. Beats at a very high frequency, like 36,000 something. And it has a perfect sweep. It's a hybrid movement, highly decorated. It has a rotor, but that rotor goes to an electronic actuator that rather than an escapement, that sort of like slows down the beat of the. Don't make me get technical. Do I look like Don Haynes? No, I don't have an engineering degree, and despite what he would tell you, neither does he. Pardon me. I'm trying to make some adjustments here with my tripod. Okay, so yeah, have I had a little evolution in my thinking? I have. But if I was getting one of these Grand Seikos, I would want to have to really buy it well below retail. I would want to pay the kind of price where I could just, you know, resell the thing if I had to and not lose a whole lot of money. But one of these days I might like to try it. So do you have a Grand Seiko? Do you love a Grand Seiko? Those of you who are hating on Grand Seiko right now in the live stream comments, fine, I was one of you, you know, not even all that long ago. But let me ask you a question. Have you handled one? Because that really, for me, would validate your opinion. I've been bagging on the brand and I haven't really handled one. I've seen a couple in the, you know, in the wild, but I haven't really, you know, gotten one in my hand, toyed with it, played with it, looked at it, you know, close up. So if you are bagging on Grand Seiko and you have not handled it, tell me that in the comments, you know, fess up. I've done that for years. And if you're doing that, just as I was doing that, then we are going on brand image. We're not going on quality, feel, weight. You know, we're going on the intangibles. We're not holding the damn thing in our hand and saying, I don't like it. Now that I've touched it, put it on my wrist, I don't like it. But have you handled it and disliked it? Then I want to hear, you know, what was it that you disliked? If you have never handled it and you dislike it, you know, fess up, tell me that. Because what you're really saying is, you know, I don't know what it's like, I just don't like it, you know, on general principles. And, you know, that was me. Let me tell you, the Grand Seiko collectors are crazy. You know, they're worse than the Rolex collectors. I'm a Rolex guy, okay? I would rather have a drawer full of Rolexes and, you know, maybe, you know, go to the cheap side of the tracks, you know, to the shot in the beer place and buy me a, you know, a Grand Seiko at some point. But those guys are rabid, you know, they hate us. It's like, it's totally like, you know, Obama and Trump voters, you know, Seiko and Rolex people. I don't know why there's so much hatred. Guys, we're all watch nuts, you know? So anyway, let me, I would like your opinion on the brand Grand Seiko, particularly if you own one. Do you like it? If you own one and you didn't like it, I'd like to hear about that. If you hate it, and you never really held one, then I would like to know, why is it that you hate it? What specifically is it? Is it just the name? What if they came up with a better name? Like, personally, I've driven Lexus. I've owned a couple of Lexus, but I would have never bought them if they said Toyota. Why? Because I'm a brand whore. Like, at least I'm gonna fess up. If I'm buying something that's like expensive, I want it to look and sound expensive. I don't want people to mix it up, you know, with the Seiko 5. You know, you can get them for, what's the cheapest Seiko 5? I think I've seen them for 50 bucks. You know, I don't want to spend 10 grand. Okay, so what should I pay, guys? What should I pay for like a 45 millimeter high beat Grand Seiko diver? Thanks for joining me. Leave me the comments. Leave your hate, leave your love, whatever it is. Just make sure you leave something behind so that I know you were here. And hey, like and subscribe. Now I got to find the bye-bye button. Thanks for joining me, guys. We're going to do this again soon.